I'm Michaela McCormick reporting from DM News English headquarters in Manchester. Here are the latest updates regarding the current US-Iran war. Iran's interim council meets as succession process begins. President Masoud Pezeshkian and senior clerical and judicial figures convened after the supreme leader's death, with a new leader required to be appointed within 3 months. Saudi Arabia shuts Ras Tanura refinery after drone strikes. Aramco halted operations at its 550,000 barrel per day facility as regional fighting disrupted energy infrastructure and heightened concerns over global oil supplies. Iran not seeking foreign military support amid strikes. Iran's ambassador to Kenya has said Tehran will rely on its own capabilities in responding to US and Israeli attacks, urging other nations to condemn the escalation. Houthi-held Yemen sees rallies condemning US-Israeli strikes on Iran. Crowds in Sana'a and other areas voiced solidarity with Tehran and warned of a response if the conflict widens further. Dubai airport quiet as regional strikes trigger mass flight cancellations. Airspace closures and escalating tensions after US-Israeli strikes on Iran forced major hubs, including Dubai and Doha, to suspend or restrict operations. Let's take a closer look at these major news items. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, the judiciary chief and the deputy chairman of the Assembly of Experts, were seen attending a meeting of Iran's Interim Leadership Council at an undisclosed location on Sunday, March the 1st, as the conflict between Iran, Israel and the United States intensified. The team is tasked with overseeing leadership responsibilities as part of a temporary governing council. The death of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has cast uncertainty over Iran's future, with no clear indication of who may succeed him or how the transition will unfold. The Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, IRGC, has long been expected to wield significant influence behind the scenes in the selection of a new supreme leader. Unlike Iran's regular armed forces, which fall under the authority of the elected president, the IRGC answers directly to the supreme leader. However, senior ranks of the guards have been weakened in recent years by US and Israeli strikes, raising questions about the extent of their current influence. Under Iran's constitution, a new supreme leader must be appointed within 3 months. Saudi Arabia shut its largest domestic oil refinery on Monday, March the 2nd, following a drone strike, according to a source, as escalating hostilities between the Middle East disrupted key energy infrastructure. The move came as Israeli and US strikes on Iran and subsequent Iranian retaliation triggered shutdowns of oil and gas facilities across the region. The wave of attacks entered a 3rd day, prompting precautionary suspensions of most oil production in Iraq's Kurdistan region and the closure of several major Israeli gas fields, curbing exports to Egypt. Saudi state oil giant Aramco's Ras Tanura refinery, with a capacity of 550,000 barrels per day, was shut as a precaution. The facility forms part of a major energy complex on the kingdom's Gulf Coast and also functions as a critical export terminal for Saudi crude. A source said the situation at Ras Tanura was under control. Saudi Arabia's Defense Ministry spokesperson told Al Arabiya TV that 2 drones were intercepted at the site, with falling debris causing a limited fire. There were no reported injuries. Saudi state news agency SPA, citing an energy ministry official, said some refinery units were temporarily halted as a precaution, but domestic supplies of petroleum products were unaffected. Aramco did not immediately respond to a request for a comment. Nevertheless, the shutdown is likely to heighten concerns about global supply, particularly as shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, a checkpoint for roughly 1/5 of the world's oil consumption, has slowed sharply following reported vessel attacks in the area on Sunday. Iran's ambassador to Kenya, Dr. Ali Gholampour, said on Monday during a press briefing that Iran is not seeking military or political support from other countries as it confronts strikes by Israel and the United States. Golanpur told reporters that Tehran was confident in its own defensive capabilities and would rely solely on domestic resources in responding to attacks. His remarks came as bombardment intensified over Tehran, where explosions and missile strikes have hit several locations in recent days, prompting many residents to remain indoors. The ambassador did not provide fresh details about Iran's military posture, but strongly condemned what he described as a joint US-Israeli assault on Iran's sovereignty. He said Iran's response would be proportionate and in line with international law. Golanpur also called on regional and global powers to help reduce tensions, arguing that stability in the Middle East was in the broader international interest. Protesters gathered in Yemen's capital Sana'a and in other areas under Houthi control on Sunday. The demonstrations came as US and Israeli forces carried out a second consecutive day of airstrikes on Iranian targets. In Sana'a, large crowds filled Al Sabeen Square, waving Yemeni and Iranian flags and chanting slogans against the United States and Israel. Similar rallies were reported in other Houthi-held provinces. "We are here today to strongly protest US-Israeli aggression against Iran and to stand firmly in solidarity with the Iranian people," said Salah, a resident of Sana'a. "We are here every day ready to respond to the call and confront the US and Israel to the end," a former Houthi official said. Yemenis and Houthi forces were on high alert. "If the situation escalates and Yemen is attacked, we will respond decisively," he said. Houthi leader Abdul Malik al-Houthi also reiterated his support for Iran, saying he was prepared for any developments in the ongoing confrontation between Iran on one side and the United States and Israel on the other. Dubai International Airport appeared unusually quiet on Monday, March the 2nd, as escalating regional tensions continued to disrupt air travel and trigger widespread flight cancellations. Global aviation has been heavily affected after ongoing airstrikes led to the closure of major Middle Eastern airports, including Dubai, the world's busiest international hub, marking one of the most significant travel disruptions in recent years. Key transit centres such as Dubai and Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, along with Doha in Qatar, were either shut down or operating under severe restrictions, as much of the region's airspace remained closed. Emirates, the world's largest international airline, said it has suspended all flights to and from its Dubai hub until Tuesday. Israel said it carried out a further wave of strikes on Iran on Sunday. Meanwhile, loud explosions were reported for a second consecutive day near Dubai and over Doha after Iran launched retaliatory air attacks targeting neighbouring Gulf states. Those are the latest updates in regards to the current US-Iran war situation. I'm Michaela McCormick. Stay tuned for more updates with DM News English.